I'd like to take this opportunity to, first of all, send my thoughts and prayers to the people in the Dallas, Texas area whose lives have been disturbed in the past day. Um, I hope that and pray that uh, rebuilding could take place, and again, my deepest sympathies to the people there who have suffered due to the tornadoes that have occurred there in the past day. Last night, Mitt Romney won a clean sweep of three primaries in Wisconsin, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. And I congratulate Governor Romney and his supporters on their win, but I don't think that this nomination is quite over yet. I think that Governor Romney certainly is the front runner. It looks like he's going to be the nominee, but you never know. I'd like to remind the voters that in 1968, Ronald Reagan, then a young governor of California, actually won more votes than Richard Nixon, the former vice president, the more moderate candidate, going into the Republican convention in that year. And let me just say that uh, there's always a possibility that there could be a convention in which Mitt Romney, the moderate former governor of Massachusetts, could win more votes, but yet Newt Gingrich, the former House Speaker and the conservative candidate in the race, could always win the nomination at the convention. And the discussion at that point would have to be who best represents Republican values, who best can beat President Obama, and who best could govern the country. And I think that there is no doubt that Newt Gingrich is best qualified to lead this country for the next 4 to 8 years. But if Mitt Romney is the nominee, then I think that we will rally behind him, and I think he will win in November. I've always maintained the position that Gingrich or Romney can win. Each of them has unique qualifications, each of them has accomplishments. The question is, do you want a conservative nominee or a center right nominee? That's really the fundamental question. And Speaker Gingrich is staying in this race, perhaps for some of the reasons I just described, that the convention could enable him to be the nominee. And part of it is that Newt Gingrich is the only conservative in this race. The reality is that Ron Paul is not a conservative, he's a libertarian. And the reality is that Rick Santorum is actually, on most issues, social issues aside, to the left of Mitt Romney. You know, Rick Santorum has a lot to answer for, and the media has been giving him a free pass, both the left wing media, which the left obviously has a monopoly on the media, but there's also a right wing media that's given him a pass. Why did he vote for Sarbanes Oxley? Why did he vote against E Verify? Why did he vote to raise the debt ceiling 5 times without calling for spending cuts? Why did he vote against right to work? Why did he vote against NAFTA and CAFTA? Why did he vote for loan guarantees for the steel industry, for a steel bailout? These are all positions that Rick Santorum has taken, and most of the time he's shifted positions in order to win elections. So I think that Rick Santorum truly is a moderate who happens to be a social conservative, though I will say that most of his positions on social issues, the policies that he supports, would involve ignoring the 10th Amendment and having activist judges like Obama. So I don't know how you could debate Obama if you are so close to him on so many issues, and then you're just the opposite extreme on other issues. So I really don't understand how Rick Santorum expects to win a general election. I think he's just stubborn. I don't think he's going to drop out of the race anytime soon, but I will continue to expose Rick Santorum as the moderate flip-flopper and Washington insider that he is. Ron Paul supporters at this point are the biggest hypocrites on the planet because they claim that they're trying to preserve freedom, but yet if you speak out against them, they'll troll you on the internet. They'll get up in your face about whatever. A lot of them are occupiers, so I really don't see how Ron Paul. The majority of Americans and the majority of Americans don't even see Ron Paul as a legitimate candidate anymore. They just see him kind of as the crazy uncle at the Thanksgiving table, and his supporters are kind of, we don't dislike them, but they kind of annoy us at times, the majority of Americans. That doesn't mean we personally dislike them. It just means that they bug us at times. That's okay, but, I think after a while they have to realize their candidate's not going to win. He's not even a conservative. So I think this is a very interesting race. Obviously Governor Romney is officially, we knew this before, but he's officially the establishment candidate. Newt Gingrich is running to his right. Rick Santorum is running to his left, and Ron Paul is sort of running kind of just to prove a point or whatever. So this is a very interesting race, and I think that Speaker Gingrich or Governor Romney are both in a much stronger position than Senator Santorum to win in the fall. I also think that whoever the nominee is has to make a tough decision about the vice presidency. And I've been reading about some potential vice presidential candidates, and I have concluded that there are three individuals who I believe would be would bring the most to the ticket, but mainly the country. I think the first is Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. Governor Chris Christie is a proven fiscal conservative. He has been able to save the state of New Jersey from financial bankruptcy, bringing Republicans and Democrats together to get things done. This is an individual who has a strong understanding of both law enforcement and executive leadership. I also think that Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, she is well liked by those who know her, but she's not as well known. She's a social and fiscal conservative. She's from a southern state, which obviously is the Republican base. So I think that she also brings a lot to the table. And finally, Governor Bobby Jindal of Louisiana. He has a tremendous record of economic development and ethics reform in the state of Louisiana, and I believe that there are very few people who know more about healthcare than Bobby Jindal. So, and again, he's an executive, a conservative, an articulate individual. So I think these three would be the best suited for the vice presidency of the United States.